I know I keep talking about Canyon City and the time jump and whatever you want to call it, the Mandela effect, but I'm here to show you guys that history has been written by the winners, and we definitely lost something. Okay, another one to check out time is actually history with tree growth. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so the earliest picture of Canyon City, let's back out of it so everyone knows where I got the information from, 1874. And I can tell you right now that whoever did this didn't know what the fuck they were doing because they didn't know how to read time. Okay, so let's look at this picture and we can see. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the prison ain't built, and it was built in 1871. Okay, so we have hardly any tree growth whatever. And then you have to remember that they came in and built a mill for flour, so that means they had to plane all this out. And I've lived in Colorado. I could tell you what the countryside looks like from here to Canyon City. And it is nothing but buffalo grass and shell rock. So when you look at this, you can't. And I want you guys to look at the size of this river right now and look at where it's directed, okay? So let's go into this. This is the ones that I can show you, and this is actually sometime after 71 when they built the first prison. I'm also going to show you where they embezzled the wood to build this instead of the fence because they said that like I said, when you really read history, how could we even be so gullible? Okay, so now they got the mill open, and that means that they had to have a bunch of farms to grow a bunch of wheat in order to make flour. Okay, this one right here. This one is after they built the wall, and you can see Canyon City has grown quite a bit, and you can see a lot of trees. But I'm going to show you where this gets really interesting because just the time frame that they did. So basically from 1872, and we'll close out of this. We'll just say from basically 1872, after they got the train, then is when Canyon City could actually start being built. And then if you let's go back to it real quick just so you guys can see it. When they redirected the river and everything, you could see where they put the train in right here. So this is after they got the train. But if you go to this one, you could tell all of the construction excavating that they had to do to make all of this, to make a single channel. And this is what I'm talking about. Let's go to Canyon City nowadays. Let's pull that up. And let's zoom in. All right, so let's zoom in here. And you could see this is where the state penitentiary is right here, and you could see the river. And see how much they've diverted it and channeled it into a smaller river than it was at the beginning of time for Canyon City. I mean, this river is absolutely massive, and yet, all within about 20 to 35 or 20 to 25 years, they were able to go from, which isn't much bigger than it was at the turn of the century now. All they've done is they've destroyed and rebuilt over and over again. And I'm going to show you where we've lost so many valuable buildings, them trying to cover up their sins of the hidden world. Okay, so now that we've gone through that, one of the ways I'm going to show you the lies too is by history of what they have wrote. So basically after 1865, after all these wars and everything were fought, Canyon City basically let me put it to you this way. This is how bad the lies are with this. So let's look at the population of Canyon City in 1870. 229 people for the population of Canyon City, and it goes up. So basically 1870, a little before they got the railroad, did they start actually, counting people in their census or whatever they would like to call it. So now that we have an idea, 1870, we have a population of 229. So let's go see what they did in 1870. So I want to interrupt this real quick just to give you an idea. The way that they were able to control history is by the information. And you have to think about it at that time before they actually had telephones. And the next thing was telegrams. And then we started advancing into more electronics with the telephone and so forth. But until then, all they had to do was control the mail, and they controlled everything. So let's go in and read some of this. This is This guy right here, back in time, the Rockefeller's son left a landmark on Canyon City, and it's really interesting. If you watch PBS specials, you can hear the little remarks that they make about what they did with history. And so what we're really concerned about, though, is the time of when they built the prison and so forth. But this is really what I wanted to tell you. Let me see if I can find it again. This is why it's so important. He became the postmaster of Canyon City in 1879. So yeah, you can control the information real quick when you have that position. Another one, 1861, the town raids two companies of volunteers to serve with the 2nd Colorado Infantry skirmish near New Mexico as far east as the Indian Territory. Let me see if I got that one. I seem to have lost that one. So let me pull that up. All right, now that I pulled it back up to show you guys here, so this is where I got the information from. And like I said, in 1862, or not, I'm sorry, not 1862. Where was it at? Was this the one? Oh yeah, it is. 1861 is where the town raised two volunteers to serve with the 2nd Colorado Infantry. Okay, so a company is basically 100 men. So they had 200 men. And if you go back to the history, population control. Oh, where's it at? Where did you go, population control? All right, 1870, we had 229 men. So they left 9 men in the whole fucking city after. I just, when you look at history and you realize what they've done, you just can't help just look at it and go, are you fucking kidding me that we're this stupid? Nobody has pointed this out before, that it is nearly impossible to do what they're telling us in the time frame that they did with the technology they did. It's just, and not only that, move vast amounts of country, miles, thousands of miles to get all this done. Absolutely insanity. And then when you look at the Sunborn maps, you realize that these cities were well coordinated. Well coordinated. They had underground systems, tunnel systems. They had water pipes already installed, and the electrical, all of it. And I could show you in the prints too. That's the other one. When you go look at the Sunborn prints, and I'll have to go through that about the electrical, Canyon City and Salida, when they actually got their hydro plants. Now think about that. Before 1900, they had hydro plants or steam plants, steam or hydro. I believe it was hydro, and they used it on the river. Now that I'm here on the spot, I'm questioning myself. Okay, so like I said, these videos are long, and I have to go through and to give you guys information, the backstory, because if you don't have a backstory, and when I present the pictures, it's not going to be that big of a deal because you're just going to glance over it. And everybody has the attention span of a gnat nowadays, but this is really important. This is so important. This is our history for our country and our well-being. Whatever happened, that's in the past. You are here fucking today. Today is the day to make a difference. So up to you. And I'm going to prove it. I'm telling you. Trees are cool. God said basically bend them over because he's giving them a brushly enema. Because that's where we're at, and God is pissed. I know he is. But let's start back here again to finish this video off. Tree growth, massive river. And so the photographs are what I'm going to go through next, because I already ran this video up to 9 minutes. Like I said, I can just cover information. It's so much, and then trying to like copy or backtrack information so you watch the previous video. And that's just it. If you don't watch the previous video, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. So, like I said, brothers, please share and help me if you can, because this is vital. This is for our country. I found the keys, and let me show you in the pictures next, where you're going to see these keys, and you're going to realize we've been here way longer than they thought.